Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here with Victor Ortiz, who fights coming up December 13th in the MGM. I was going to say Mandalay because it's supposed to be Mandalay originally.
Yes.
But now you're switched over to the
it's
MGM.
weird. I told a lot of friends in Mandalay. Well, first I was confused because, obviously I'm in camp with Timothy Bradley and Coach Joel Diaz in Indio, California, and he fights at that Cosmopolitan. And I thought I was fighting at the Cosmopolitan, so I started telling my friends, like, yeah, man, I'm fighting at the Cosmopolitan. And then they're like, no, you're fighting at the Mandalay. I'm like, oops. So I started telling people to go to the Mandalay, and apparently now we're fighting the MGM Grand. So
your friends got to rebook their tickets now.
Absolutely.
You brought up Tim, and I know you're working with Joel now. What do you make of you guys fighting on the same night?
It's interesting, Coach. That just shows you how hard Coach Joel likes to work. Coach is he's going from my fight straight to Timothy's, and that's a lot of.
Yeah, I was thinking that in my head, like logistically speaking.
Right after we fight, pull off a victory, and then he's got to go pull off another victory. So it's going to be intense and interesting, but that's my respects to Coach.
Speaking of Joel, I know this camp has been pretty intense. He's been working you pretty hard. Touch on that. How's it been going so far up to this point?
It's been great. 12 weeks in, and no backing down from Coach, man. He keeps coming hard and harder, but I can appreciate his work ethic, and I'm sure he appreciates mine. We mesh very well, so it's good.
How's it different compared to the other trainers you've had? How is he really getting you to do the things that you need to do at this point?
At this point in time, he pushes you to your limits, It is what it is, though. I'm in camp for a reason. I left my comfort zone to go into pretty much a torture zone with Coach, but it's a risk I was willing to take, and I accepted. So, I have to be away from friends, from people, from my house and everything. And, I came back a couple times during camp to make sure my house was okay. And other than that, I just paid the dues,
How's it like moving around with Tim and learning from him as well? And if you guys had a chance to spar at all?
We haven't sparred, whatever Coach says goes. I don't have any say on that. Coach is the captain of the ship, But just being around him and the kind of motivation that you get around Tim and the things that he's got to say sometimes, I'm an open mind. I try to soak everything as much as possible, and I take it for what it's worth. And it's been awesome being around Tim and Coach Joel.
Tim has a work ethic that's like 0 to none in this sport. What do you think is the most helpful thing that you've learned from Timothy so far?
Well, there's been quite a bit of things to learn from Tim. He's older than me, and like I said, I'm an open book. I'm an open mind to everything he's got to say. I listen, and that's that. He's been champ. I've been champ. But the thing is that I've never been in a camp with champs like that. Of that caliber. So I'm happy.
Seems you're in a good place right now, and everything's focused on this fight.
Absolutely.
But speaking of this fight, what are your thoughts on the opponent that you have now?
Mike Perez, he's obviously a great fighter. To get to the levels he's gotten and reached, and obviously being across the ring for me, you take nothing from him. He's a good fighter.
What do you want to show on that night of the fight? Some of the new things you've been working on with Joel.
I'll show you December 13th.
Okay, give me a little hint, though. Like, if you've been working on certain things that you kind of want to hope to show.
December 13th, I'll show a lot, man. Yeah.
All right, Victor, looking at the future, and I know you don't want to look past this opponent. It's a big challenge. Every fight's a big challenge, but how soon do you feel that you can be back in the mix for a title? Do you have like a personal goal where you said to yourself, you know what, next year I feel that I want a title shot, or you kind of want to take it day by day?
I think December 13th, after the fight, we can continue this interview.
All right, I'll look for you on December 13th then. Victor Ortiz, thank you very much. Fights
Thank you.
On December 13th at the MGM Grand.